Talking with Toasty. I am Toasty, obviously. Why wouldn't I be Toasty? I am not joined by Steam Dan today. Steam Dan left me. Steam Dan does not appreciate me anymore, which is so unfortunate. Alrighty, we're gonna jump right in to our race recap. So we had our social race this Sunday. We didn't have an actual race. So this is the result. Red, first time driver for us, took home the win in Hungary, followed by Sausage, Zogi. Also another first time driver. Jude got third, coming out of nowhere, who just got his promotion to F1. Gold Vrochi got fourth for a good place. Lenz also getting promoted to F1 recently into fifth. Hod into sixth. Also another new driver. A lot of new drivers here. Ari got seventh. Then everyone else DNF'd. Shadow got a bunch of penalties and sent it into the wall after realizing he couldn't win. Juice the Kid, I don't exactly know what happened there. Lepo, I think, kind of spun. Pex had a kind of a dirty social race. Sebi Ted got 12th of the DNF. One more one. Sorry, DNF'd. And then Not Earth DNF'd. No standing changes today simply because, I feel like it's kind of obvious because there was nothing that really happened. One thing that I think I'm allowed to talk about because it's been announced is stewarding. Stewarding in our league just got a big overhaul, and so we're gonna go over it right now because this is part of our recap. So our penalty points got a big overhaul, like I had said. We had a big FIA team meeting for this. So penalty points have been changed a little bit. So now 6 penalty points is a qualifying ban like normal. 12 points is a race ban. And then if you get 22 penalty points, you get 2 race bans now. So it's a little bit of a increase. So there's more of a risk after that. And after that, you're probably going to get banned from the league because you're not being too clean. So we are noticing that a lot of our incidents weren't getting reported when they probably should be. And to encourage people to report incidents, there'll be any competitor who correctly reports an incident that is later confirmed as a rule breach will just receive a deduction of 0.5 penalty points. So this means if I report Lark Knight for cutting me off on a corner, and it is found that he gets a penalty, I get deducted penalty points. So if I'm close to a race ban, I can submit some clips in to deduct some points to help with that. This will hopefully promote some cleaner driving, just because there's more of a risk of getting reported. So incidents, I feel like this hasn't changed a lot. Just minor, moderate, and major. Time penalties have changed with the points, so now just a 3-second will just be half a penalty point, nothing major. But a bigger one, 5 seconds, will be 3 penalty points. That's already half of a quali ban. So if you're a dirty driver, I would stop. And then 10-second time penalty will be 5 penalty points. Yeah, we had talked a little bit, and I had asked if we could get negative penalty points. It does not seem like we're allowed to get negative penalty points, which is kind of funny. I think it would have been fun. Another part of our recap, PEX 1 will be getting a qualifying ban. He is our first person to be getting a qualifying ban. And so, if he doesn't take that, he won't be allowed to race later. I think we had said that if he doesn't take it for Spain, then he gets a race ban. I feel like that's about it for our recap here today. Just because it's a social race. But I have been cleared to announce the second social race.
Today, Junior.
What that twist is. So, breaking news. So, for the social race 2, drivers will be required to use all 5 tire compounds. That means throughout the race, you'll have to use softs, mediums, hards, intermediates, and wet tires. So if it's a wet race, you might have to struggle for a few laps. If it's a dry race, you're still going to have to struggle for a few laps. I do believe that I will double check this while I'm doing all of this. But I do think that we are randomizing what tire people will start on. Could be very wrong, but... And I do believe that So we did a poll for the track that we are doing, and it was a resounding support for Singapore. You still have time to vote, so don't be scared. But we have 1 vote for Qatar, 3 votes for Abu Dhabi, 5 votes for Vegas, and 18 votes for Singapore. So we're probably going to do Singapore. Because it's fun. We like Singapore, guys. Alright, well, this ends our recap. And we are now going to be doing clip review time. Everyone's favorite segment. Oh my goodness gracious, dude. Okay. I was given 2 clips to look at. So, this is not Earth's HUD. First thing I'm noticing, this is brought down. That's not a big issue. It's just that a lot of the time when I'm racing, I don't really want to look at the mirror all the time. And I feel like if this is here, I'm looking at it all the time. I do believe that this whole area has been brought more to the right, which that doesn't change much for me. Same with that. I think that was brought to the left a little bit. This being brought up, not a big change. I used to do this for a long, long time when racing and when learning manual shifts, but now I just keep it down here. So that's fine. This is my issue, not Earth. Your map is getting 0 use here. I can already imagine myself driving. I looked at my map and I turned left. I don't know, like, why I feel like that's going to happen, but I feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like this is way, way too far off to the right. It needs to be back where it normally is. You're not going to use your mirrors. I mean, look, if we zoom in, what are you seeing out of your mirror? Nothing, because you did the same thing over here. What are you seeing out of this mirror? Oh, you can see that tiny little car. You can see that tiny little... That's not going to do anything. That's why you have this. Put your stuff back. This is also an issue for me. Like, I get shorts closer. And grass and tarmac. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially all you are seeing here. So, I mean, I get this is, like, closer and it might be easier to see, but I feel like, I don't know. I give this a solid 6.5 out of 10. This is just in an awkward position. These two are a little awkward. Also, this is just, like, if we look at this, this is not even at all. So I'm actually going to bring it down to a 5.5. If you made these match and maybe... Like, I'm fine with this being here, but do you notice how this is cutting into this area? Change that. Yeah. Our next one will come from Ari. Ari's is very normal. Slight changes. Do we have slight changes? Maybe this is brought up a little bit. It might be down here. Otherwise, everything looks relatively normal, Ari. I mean, like a, I don't know, full track map. That's it. Yeah, this is, I mean, this is just a normal HUD. I guess if we're being fair to everybody, we'll look at my HUD. So this is my HUD for 24. This is my biggest issue right here. I do believe that I brought this up too far. And the whole point of this being here was so I could watch my shifts and see what gear I'm in and see the suggested gear. But yeah, it's too far up. I don't think I have any videos of me playing 25 where you can see my HUD. I will say I did change something. If you
say lap 50.
I guess we're gonna watch a little bit of this clip.
Yes. Unless your rear tires are actually really bad.
This is moved. This 10 out of 10 movement here. See if I can't bring it back just enough where you can see me actually enter the pit.
Say lap 15. What happened?
Oh, gosh, Toasty.
Are you gonna serve that
Why would I
toast
say
in
that?
their pits or-
So yeah, you can still very easily see everything. And the reason that I have it moved there is for this. This is the whole reason I have it moved. With this here, I could not see this. And I do manual pit release, as you see here. So I could not see this at all. And so I'd be released from the pits way too late. But that's my HUD. I like my HUD pretty good. I mean, it's mine, so I can't really give a fair rating. I don't know, maybe like an 8.5. And then we have one more clip that I submitted. This is an actual clip. This is something that I actually produced and made myself. It is a 360 side-by-side of Monaco. So you can see I'm dragging my mouse around and we can actually get a full 360. This took about 6 hours to make this 1 minute and 25-second video. I did this with one of my friends. I'm obviously the POV car. It took us a long time to get used to each other's racing. But this is fun. I mean, I just wish that I put it in a little better spot. I think next time I'm maybe gonna put it here. I just wish that you could do like from the driver's POV. But yeah. This is just basically one full lap. This section gets a little off because I didn't give him a lot of room there. So that's our only goof up for this video. But yeah, I do really like this. And this is obviously posted in the channel, the clip submission channel, if you want to go check this out for yourself. I'm going to maybe do more of these. So if you guys want to see some tracks that could be fun going side by side with through the whole thing, let me know. I think maybe gonna do Baku next, especially the castle section. But yeah, that has been our clip review. And then now, quiz time. Today's quiz has been sponsored by ChatGPT. I'm gonna be 100% honest. ChatGPTs were actually really bad, and so yeah. So question numero uno. Which driver scored a podium at Monza before ever winning a Formula One race with a team powered by a Mercedes engine? Hold on to your answers. Hold on to your answers. Don't say them yet. Don't say them yet. Don't say them yet. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Think for a little bit. Think. And okay, you can go ahead and say. Not Earth is typing. It was actually not Sainz. I mean, Sainz might have done it, but my answer was Lance Stroll for Racing Point, Monza 2020. Did he? But was it a Mercedes engine, a Mercedes powered engine? Because if you listen to the full, was it? I feel like that's not true. No, McLaren was Renault. So, you guys were wrong. Yeah. That was question number 1. All right. Question number 2. This one's going to be really tricky, because this is only if you watched F2 Imola for our league. But which driver for the F2 Imola race had accidentally pit to full wets instead of slicks when conditions had turned from wet to dry? 3, 2, 1, and say your answers. Yep, it was Rudy Crazy Legs. Good try, Not Earth. Good try. It was a rough race for him. Yeah. Alright, this one should be a relatively easy one. What track currently on the calendar has the most elevation change from its lowest to its highest point? Hold on to your answers. Hold on to your answers. And 3, 2, 1. Say 'em! Yeah, it's Spa. Basically all it just comes from Eau Rouge. Alrighty. Question number 4. I think we're on 4 now. If you were paying attention earlier, you should know this one. Ari should know this one. Which driver will be getting our first qualifying ban for ASL? Hold on to your answers. Hold on to your answers. Give you time to type. 3, 2, 1, and Sam. Pex 1, yes. Alrighty. This one is going to be a little bit of a more challenging one. What is the only race in modern F1 history, so from 2000 onwards, is what we're saying is modern. So what is the only modern race in F1 history that had 0 overtakes after the first lap? 0 overtakes after the first lap. So it's going to be a little bit of a trickier one below. I feel like you can kind of just guess with like the circuit and the year. Not just the circuit. I'll give you a little bit of thinking time because this one's a little bit more challenging. All right. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and say them. Technically, Ari's is right. But not really, because there were no overtakes, period. Because there weren't allowed overtakes. So that doesn't count. Not Earth is just completely wrong. Because there were overtakes. The correct answer 2003 Monaco. Yeah, but technically, George Russell got an overtake when he cut the chicane. There you go, not Earth. You were not right, Ari. Alrighty. On to race predictions. Race predictions for social race number 2. So I'm looking at the people who have signed up. Lark Knight, Juice, Hassan, Sausage again, Not Earth, Jude, Lepo, Dan, Red, Kairos, Lens, Liren, Ari, Cold Rochi, One More Wand, Layla, Moira, I'm so sorry, Moira.
Today, Junior?
I cannot speak. Moira, Domi, I don't know how to say that name, and Shadow. So looking at this, I think Singapore, a little bit of a tricky race. I think that Shadow is going to win this one. If he's driving, because he did say that he didn't want to drive if we were doing penalty points. Which, just remember, if you signed up and you do not show up, you get a penalty point. And you do get half penalty points for causing incidents in the social race. Just be wary about that. But yeah, so I do think that Shadow's going to go on to win this one. I do think that Zogi will be right there, though. Same with Red. Red had a lot of pace in Hungary. So we'll have to see how all of that pays out. But with the little bit of a mix-up, except for quality, that's right. If you compete in quality, you get a full point. But yeah, with the little bit of a mix-up, it could be a little harder to do, simply because you might be starting on wets and might get bogged down compared to everyone else. So it'll definitely be interesting to see people's strategies, see if people, when people use their inters and wets, if it's a dry race, and vice versa if it's a wet. Cannot start on wet or inters. I do apologize then. I'm just a silly goose. I guess it'll be an interesting strategy to see when people pit to their wets and their inters. See if they want to do it at the start of the race or at the end of the race. That is all I have for race predictions. You know what it's time for? Toasty's Takes. The segment where I give awards to people. So, first award goes out to Shadow. Shadow informed us that he's a part of 12 leagues and does not read announcements for our league, and did not know that we were doing penalty points for the social race, and got upset when he was given us a penalty point. Non-attentive goes to Shadow, for being a silly little goober. Second, goes to Red. Red in our social race was really, really strong. He basically led every lap until he went into the pits, and he ended up winning the race when he was racing against Shadow and Zogi. So he did pretty good. So he gets the Big Fat Driver of the Day award, not Ari. Third award is gonna go to Lark Knight. Lark was so excited to do the social races that he decided to DNF. And so, I don't know what to call that award, but, yeah. I believe he was the first retirement of the race. That is all for Toasty's Takes. Short little segment there. And we're going to be getting to our last segment of the day. A little bit of a shorter one here because nobody really showed up. We're going to do our Q&As. Just a couple here today. So there's one message that I believe I forgot, which is from Lark Knight. Lark Knight last week, I do not believe I answered his question, but his question was, are you faster at running 5Ks than racing F1? My answer to that is depends on the F1 race and the distance. If it's a 50% race, I'm faster at running 5Ks. If it's like a 25% race, then I'm probably going to be faster on F1. Simple as that. Alrighty. Lark also now asks, what has been your favorite race of this season so far, and why? So my favorite race of this season so far has to be Jeddah. At least for me. Jeddah was such a roller coaster of emotions for me. I was doing pretty good, and then I was doing pretty bad, and then I was doing pretty good, and then I was doing pretty bad, and then I was doing pretty good. If I had gotten 0 penalties, I would have gotten my first ever podium for ASL, but I got some penalties, so I wasn't able to do that, which is fine. So, Not Earth asks, is Lark still your least favorite driver? Lark is still my least favorite driver. He also asks, if you could change one thing about the league, what would it be? If I could change one thing about the league, I would have to say, this one's kind of a tricky one. This one is a really tricky one. If I could change one thing about the league, what would it be? Alright. If I was allowed to change one thing, I would change how many people score points in a race. Some leagues do, everyone scores points, some do like top 15. So if I had to change something, I think I would make it top 12 get points. Just so that everyone has a good chance of getting points. I mean, a lot of DNFs do happen, and so I feel like a lot of the times it is just basically guaranteed points if you stay alive, but that'd be the only thing I would change. Next question also comes from Not Earth, is if you could change one thing about F125, what would it be? This is something that I will die on a hill for. I want the AI to be more aggressive. Give me an aggressive slider. Let me choose 0 aggressive to 100 aggressive. 0 being they almost never go for overtakes, never do anything. They just race me normally. And I can just basically do whatever. Because sometimes you kind of just want to, like, win. And 100, let them dive bomb me. There's been so many times where I'm racing the AI, I leave the door open for a dive bomb, and they don't go for it. And it kind of upsets me, because that would happen in real life. I want to get dive bombed by the AI. I want to have altercations with the AI. I wouldn't care if I got taken out by AI if it meant that they dive bombed me. Because maybe in the moment, sure. I would maybe be upset in the moment. I would be like, oh my gosh, I just got taken out of the race by an AI. This is so frustrating. But after the fact, I would be like, I just got dive bombed by an AI. This is crazy. Not Earth, I agree. I do want them to be more affected by tire wear and dirty air and the track being wet. Because, yeah, a lot of the times when I'm behind an AI, I have to take a completely different line. Like, especially, turn 2, Vegas, dirty air is so strong there. And they just never seem to be affected by my dirty air, ever. And tire wear, they're just so consistent. Another thing, they're so fast on the straights, especially in my team. I just did my Bahrain race for my team for Season 3. My car's, midfield still. But the AI goes so quick on straights. I had DRS, slipstream, and I was using my battery. And I was still losing time to the AI who did not have DRS, who did not have a slipstream. And I was losing time to him. And it kind of upset me, and I was like, well, what am I supposed to do here? I mean, I can't catch him on straights. I can't catch him into corners. How am I supposed to catch him? So that'd be what I want to change, is just have the AI affect the race. So far, they've been pretty good. I do like all those little slip-ups they're allowed to have. Like one time in Canada, they slipped up and got a red flag, and I was excited because that helped my strategy. Alright, guys, this has been episode 2 of Talking with Toasty. Sorry that it's a smaller one. Just didn't have a lot to talk about this week. Next week will probably be very similar. So I do thank you all for spending your time with me and having the opportunity to hang out with you guys, talk a little bit, get more in depth with the league, and connect us all together. I have been your host, Toasty, and I do wish you all a good week.